Welcome. My name is Danny Ross, and I'll be your host today for the Tuesday edition of the AI Lunch and Learn. We have these 3 times a week. So today's lesson is at 12 noon Eastern. On Wednesday, we're at 12 noon Central. And then Thursday, we are 12 noon Pacific time. To pick up where we left off, we were working through the AEO website creator. And so that's this one right here. And so we were building out a sales funnel or a single page website. So that's where we were working. And so we were working on building that out. So those are kind of the steps that we were taking. So I'll do a little bit of a review of the essential parts of building out a sales funnel, and then we'll get right into it. So I'll pause here, see if anybody has any general questions. Hey, Annette, how you doing? All right, so we were working on her website, but the lessons that we're learning actually apply to any website that we want to build. So we were about here right now. We had done the logo, we had done a headline, subheadline, we had implemented a video and the call to action. So these are elements that are common in any new website that you build, for example. So let's see. We also have Christina on the call. We have Ramona on the call. All right. So here's what we can do. Just as sort of a refresher of where we were, I'll do a little bit of both. So I'm going to go back a step and we'll actually keep this up here as sort of a foundational example. And isn't that great, Annette? Your website that we built last week has now become an example of something that you can build in a few minutes using the AEO website builder. So I'm going to actually duplicate this page. Give me 1 second. Where am I? What level am I at? It's hilarious. All right, I'm on the Build Biz level. I'm actually going to go to one level higher. All right, so we're going to build out a new page. So I'm going to create a new page, and we're going to use a simple format for this page, and I'm going to call this one Ask Ramona. And this will be like a refresher for anyone who wasn't on the previous call. And we are launching a new app on our platform called Ask Ramona. And I'm actually building out what's called a speaker page. And so this will kind of be, as I said, both a good refresher. And so when you click on manual or any kind of create in a sales funnel, you get some of our templates that are already built. As a matter of fact, usually when I'm building a sales page or website, I will use a template that's sort of kind of laid out in the manner that I like. So if you hit preview, it shows you what the page looks like. So you can kind of say, oh, yeah, I like that format, or I like this format. In other words, it's a good starting point to start with a template. And then you can always go back and change the colors, change the fonts, everything like that. So this is one of our newer templates that we built out. So again, lots of examples of templates that you can utilize. What I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to start from scratch, because if you understand the elements of the builder, you can build anything. So let's start with this blank template, and literally you get a blank page. And what it's doing right now is behind the scenes on any AEO website, funnel, or page. There we go. We're on Pledge. I don't want to go to Pledge. You guys have not, I have not trained you guys on Pledge yet. So let's try this again. One last time. If not, I'll move on to another instance of myself. I think that's what the issue is. I'm logged in too many places. Let's see what's going on here. So when I go in here, I have literally a blank page. There's nothing here. So what we want to do is we want to start with this top area here. And if you look at the colors as I move around, it changes colors based on the element that I'm highlighting. So when it's this purplish color, this is what we call a segment, or if you want, you can call it a section. And just think of it as a big container. And in that container, you can put other elements. So for example, here I can put in a row. And if you click on it on the right, it'll tell you what that element is. This is a one column row. And if I click one layer down below that, here's something I've put in the row that is in the container. And that's this image here. And it's a logo, and it's the image for the top of the page. So really simply, big bucket, big container, call a section or a segment. Inside of that, you have your row, and inside of that, you have your element, or in this case, an image or a logo. So let's go back to where we were with this completely blank page, and let's add a segment. And the first thing you do with the segment is you can decide, does it cover the entire width at the top of the page? Is it just wide, medium, or small? So you can determine how wide it is. So we're going to start with a wide element. The next thing we're going to do is add a row. So again, we put that inside of it. We're going to do a one column row because we're only going to add one element or component. And so we're going to click on that right now. And this particular element on the right, as soon as you click add that, it'll just give you the most used ones. So headers, subheaders, as I showed you on the page here. All right, so we have the logo up at the top here. Then we have a header, we have a subheader, we've got a video. So essentially, that's what we're duplicating here. So we're going to add one of these elements. In this case, I'm going to add an image. Further down the page, you can see other text type of elements or components. Here you can see media, so you can put in images, videos. You have forms where you can build out a form for perhaps someone is signing up to your website. You have checkout where you can actually process payments for people buying products or services. You can do other elements, countdowns and things like that. You can have AI components, which is essentially an AI app built right into the website builder. So for example, if you were already using some of the apps, you might recognize magic hooks or FAQs or hero images, and more are coming. And then at the bottom is where you can do some custom things, like you can have custom HTML and JSON and all kinds of fun things. One of the key things about this website builder is that it automatically builds out your JSON and your schema markup to be found on AI chat engines like ChatGPT or Gemini or any of the other ones. So that's why I love this builder, because you don't have to worry about that stuff. That's really technical stuff, and it's already taken care of. As you build your page, it automatically creates all that markup stuff for you. So let's go ahead back to where we were. Let's drop in an image, and we're just going to find an image that we're going to use. You can use, it'll be in any folder. If you download something, for example, it'll go into your download folders. Or of course, if you're more organized like I am, you'll have 100 folders within folders. And I try to keep it all organized so I can find things quickly, such as this item here. So you can either click here and have it go to your folder system, or you can drag and drop. And so in this case, I'm going to drag and drop. So I just dragged in this logo here. And so it dropped it into the library. Wow, Danny. It dropped it into the library. And by the way, you do have stock images. If you wanted something, and you could search and it'll go find, images for you. If you want an icon, you can put in an icon and it'll search for an icon for you. And then this is also another form of image. So these are free images that you can use, and all of these are available. You can also get a background. So if you just wanted a background, you can drop these in. There's gradient images. So going back here, it tells you here at the bottom, double click to add image to the page. And that's what we'll do. So we'll double click it. And as you can see, it drops it in the center. Obviously, this is a bit large. So what we'd want to do is come here and make it a little bit smaller. So let's say we did 300 and there you go. So it's just floating there right at that level. That's ready to go. So that is the logo image. So other things that you'll learn how to do later is make sure you, for every image, you should always have what's called an alt tag so that, again, Google SEO can find your image. So like if we call this one Ask Ramona, or the Royal this is her Ramona's company is called Royal Incubators, and so you could put that in, or you could put in Ramona, anything that you want to have, just tagging that. It's also helpful for what's called accessibility, so if someone can't see the image, they can see a description of what it is. Okay, if you want the logo to go somewhere, you can put in a link and so on and so forth. We won't spend too much time on this right now. I'm just going to keep building out. Okay. All right. By the way, if you have questions as I go along, please put it in the chat. All right. So that's the first thing we're going to do. The next thing we want to do is create another segment where we can build out this hero section. A hero section is what you see at the top of most website pages where number one, as I said, you get that attention grabbing headline, and then you have more information or call to actions, or in this case, this is what's called a video sales letter. So it's a video explaining the products and services on the website, or you may have text, further bullets and text further explaining what the website is about. So any website you go to, generally speaking, you'll have that right at the top. So here is the new Build Biz website. So you have the login for existing members, you have my logo, you have my statement that grabs your attention, you have my video that goes into describing what the website is all about. You have a little bit more explanation here. So you try to make it simple, short to the point, and the most important things about your products or services. And then what's called a call to action is a button right here where you go off and you do whatever it is. In this case, start a free trial, right? So you want that layout in your hero section. If you were old enough to remember reading a newspaper, this is what we call above the fold. In website lingo, it's called a hero section. So at the top of your website. So hopefully that's all kind of self-explanatory. So now we're going to go add this section here so we can have these elements created for the Ask Ramona app page that we're building here. Now, there is one slight difference. I'll do both. I'm going to talk while I drag elements in here. So I'm going to add a new section right below this section. I'm going to add another row. The thing that's unique about this page that I'm building is that it's a single purpose page. I'm building for Ramona what's called a speaker page. And so it has a specific purpose. It is a little different than the layout that we would use in most other pages. So I just want to put that out there so that you understand that it's a little bit different. Normally, we would build it in a certain way where we would have multiple things. Actually, let me do this. I'm going to change the row because I have a certain layout in my mind. So I'm going to add a row. You can add a one column row or a two column row. So I'm going to build out a two column row. As you can see, here's one component or one column, here's another column. And so you can kind of build it however you want it to be. So on the left here, I'm going to put in a header, and then we'll put in some quick text. Actually, let's do this, the Ramona app. And because that's what we're building this out for. And on the right side, I'll put in an image. And I can, again, same process, right? I click here, I go to the right, click on there, and I get a new image. So for Ramona, I'm building out an image. I want to drop this here, and I'll drop it right there. So I have the introducing the Ramona app, and then this is the image that I'm going to use for that. So now I have on the left a headline, on the right I have an image. So I have two columns. So I'm going to go add some more to this side, and I'm going to build out, again, I can put in another header, or of course the logical thing to do would probably be a subheader. And so the subheader can now have whatever we want to have in it. For example, meet Ramona Rogers ask. And then you could say something like business coach and expert, right? And so from there, you can have some information that you want to start building out, and you can keep going down. So maybe I want to add another layer, or excuse me, another item in this row here. So if I hit the plus sign here, I can now drag in some text where I can go and start putting in more details, or I could drag in instead, I could have some bullets. So maybe I want to put in bullets so I can talk, give some highlights of the information that I'm building on that particular, the Ramona app, right? And you can take all of these elements and you can do whatever you need to do as far as this is just like any, a word editor where you can make it bold, you can make it italic, undersized, underlined, strikeout, left centered, center centered, right centered. You can add links and then you can also edit each element in here. So for example, right now, the font size is 30. You can take it up to 40 if you want to make them a little bigger, etc. Right? So you can build this out just like that. It's drag and drop and then edit whatever it is that you have. And then from there, now you can start getting a little fine-tuned. You can do different things with bullets and spacings. You can change the font colors. You can do all of this all from this element on the right. So again, you click on the element to get its attention. If it is text and you want to change something about it, you can go here. You can change the font size. So you have complete control over each element, drag and drop, and you can, again, change the colors. Now, Ramona's colors are more purple, actually black gold. And so you can go in, there's a whole brand table that you can use. You can put in your brand colors right here. So if there's a specific color that you want to use, you can just click on it and type that color in there. And that would be the color it would idolize. So for example, if we wanted a kind of a goldish color, there you go. And if you have the exact gold color you want to use, that's what you drop in there. Same thing here. You can just click on it and get that same color. So once you have the elements in, and so you have like this text color here, for example, I can apply it as a highlight. So for example, here I have bold. If I decide to meet Ramona Rogers is in bold and the headline is, the rest of it is not, for example, I can go in here and I can actually change what the bold color is, right? I can use the previously used color, and so it stays color consistent with her logo. When you're dealing with brand on a web page, you don't want to have more than maybe three colors. So another element is the look and feel of your page. In this case, you can select a font from here and change the look and feel of any element, including the text. I would not recommend using that text, by the way. I'm just showing it to you as an example. And so you can change the text, you can go in there. So you don't want to make it hard for people to read. So that font there is great for signatures and things, but it's not great for reading it, right? And so another important element, you saw me change a couple of things, is the undo button. This is right up here on the top left, and there you go. So you've got the undo button. So that's the easiest way to kind of get out of something. All right, we've got more people jumping in. If you just want to check, I think everybody, I recognize a lot of the names on here. If you've never been to any of my training on AI or the platform, please go ahead and put a one in the chat. I just want to make sure I'm keeping everybody on the same level as we kind of go through this. So today, I see a few people just jumped on. This is the Tuesday edition of the AI Lunch and Learn. And what we're doing is kind of walking through some things in the actual platform. You had your hand up. So was it an accident, Christina? You can speak if you want to. You can unmute. Sometimes people click on that was a mistake. Okay, no worries. All right, no worries. We'll leave you alone. Okay. So, but if you do have a question, raise your hands or just type it in the chat. It's even faster. All right. So we have introducing the Ramona app. We've got the text here. We're playing around with colors and fonts and things like that. And then now we're going to keep going down the page and just adding more elements to this. So hopefully we're kind of following along. Now, if you have already built additional content for your web page in the build in the whatever app you're using, meaning I was in the hyper realistic and creating images. I was in the AI sales coach, asking it questions and creating content. You can say I was in the Ask Ramona app, and she was giving me directions on how to create a business brief. And then from there, I was building out content for what I want to put on my website. I was in the headline generator, which is also known as the magic hooks. And so I was grabbing headlines out of there. So this kind of gives you an idea of where you're building out your page, right? So on this page here, the next thing we have is a video. There's a section here with headline, subheadline, video, and then we have a call to action. So I'll do something similar on this page that we're building out. So from here, we can go ahead and add another row, and we'll make it a one column row, for example. And so let's say we want to drop a video in here. So we'll drop a video. And right now you can see it's pretty wide. So maybe we want to make it a little bit less, taking up the whole page, right? So first thing we want to do is determine where we're going to get the video from. When you're adding it to a web page or a funnel, you can get it from YouTube, Vimeo, Wistia. If you have Easy Video Suite, you can use that. If you know what HTML5 video is and the elements required, you can do that. For this exercise, I'm just going to go with YouTube as a simple example, and grab that link here. So we have a YouTube. So we have the link here. And I'll just grab the link. If I go back here, now just grab that link, drop it in here. You can decide if it automatically plays. You can decide if the controls show. There's a lot of elements that you can add. The one thing that we want to do here is we want to change the width down a little bit. So in some fields, when you're talking about width, it's in pixels. You can still put pixels in here, or in this case, I want to put it as a percentage. So I want to do it as like 80%. Okay. And then, so that's in there now. This video is in here. And so let me give you another pro tip, and certainly something that I should have been doing all along. If this happens to you and you lose your connection, your internet goes down, the browser hiccups, you would lose everything that I have done so far. There's no auto save in the website builder at this stage. So one very, very important button that is your friend that you must use every 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes, is the save button right here on the top right. So that has been saved. Now you can go out and preview it and see where you are so far. So this is our web page that we've just built out. Here's the logo, the text that we're working on. Here is the video that we just put in there. So you can click on it and there. You can see how easy that was to do. It was not complicated, it was not hard. I went a little fast. So when you get the recording of the video, everything is recorded so you can go back and check it out. So right here is the video that we just said. So you can see that we need a little bit of separation. So we can do a couple of different ways to separate this from there from a flow point of view. You could put something in this section here. So in this row, I should say, where you can say, okay, in this row, I want to have a background color or a gradient, right? You can go with that. And then you can lighten it up, for example, so that it's, a little more transparent. So it just separates the top hero section, if you will, from the video. Another thing you can do is you can add either padding at the bottom or a little bit of padding at the top or top margin. So you can kind of stretch this down a little bit. So that gives you a little more separation between the elements that you're creating. So those are two ways you can do it. Either add padding and or you can add just a little margin on the top. Okay. Thanks, Ramona. All right. So again, you can easily get these elements. And now one thing that we were missing up here in the top, I forgot to add. Let's go ahead and drop in another component here. We need a button. All right. So we can click on the button. And so again, when you click on it, the menu pops out on the right. And here you can set the action of what it actually does. You can type what it says. All right. You can put in subtext, get business coaching advice. Again, it can say anything you want. I'm just filling in some text so you can see what it looks like. You can change the font, you can change the font sizes, play around with it wherever you want it to be. You can see the colors down here. So in this one, we might use the same color, just make it dark, for example. The other thing you can do is you can play around. And so I'm going to show you the next two tabs up here on the right. So one is called themes. Themes are really cool because you can essentially just click on these preset themes for buttons and get rounded button, squared button, different colors. You can get a little 3D action going. So you can easily change that button to kind of reflect the rounded corners. The other way to do that is the third one is called miscellaneous, but actually it's very important. Here you can do a lot of custom things in here. So for example, when I picked that theme, it automatically rounded the corners for me. So if you wanted to do it manually, for example, you could do it here. So you could say, I only want 3 pixel rounding or 5 pixel rounding. So it's still rounding it. It's just not very extreme, if you will, right? So if I want that, I can make that. And if I do 50%, basically it'll make a circle. So that's the next option down here, right? The next one is 50%. If you do 50%, essentially you get a circle. All right, so I have a button. Now I need to say, where does that button go? So in the app, for example, let's go back one, two, let's see, it was this one, this one. All right, okay, so I have the Ask Ramona app. We want to go back to the color. Wow. Let's see. I don't think I kept that color. Nope, I did not. That's my fault. Let's go grab that color. I like this color. Let's get that color there. All right, text color. This one here. All right, so let's go back here and change the background color to this one. There we go. That's what we're looking for. So we've got that color. And now we have a button, but the button doesn't go anywhere when you click on it. So we need to tell it where we want it to go. So let me get another tab here. Let's see. I've got that one, and this one. Where does this one go? Oh, okay. Let's go back here and let's go to the Ask Ramona Business Coaching app, or this one, the actual app. Yep. All right, so you don't worry about this. This is a little bit more advanced. I just need to get a link. In other words, the button, I want it to go to this page, to the Ask Ramona app, and all I'm doing is grabbing the URL so I can apply it. And now I will set the action. It will go to a website in this case, and I will put the actual website in there, and I will have it open up in a new window or tab. And that's it. So I just want to be able to do that. When I click the action, it'll go to that website. And you can do that for any element, by the way. You can put in the URL where you want it to go when somebody clicks on it. So I saved it. And if now I click on it, it'll open it up right into the Ask Ramona app from that website page. All right, I'll pause here, see if anybody has any questions on what I've just shown. Hey, welcome, Ruben. We're kind of doing a little bit of an advanced topic today. When you first land in the platform, there is a host of explainer videos at the top that speaks to most of the larger products and AI tools that are in here. The next thing down is the Ask AI Sales Coach, which is like all of my knowledge poured into a chat bot. It can ask just about any kind of question that you have. It can help you write books. It can help you do any of those sales and marketing, digital marketing tasks. Where we are today is the third tab. This is the Lunch and Learns. So you have a very long list of different things that we're going to cover over the next couple of weeks, but I do it 3 times a week. Tuesday at noon Eastern, Wednesday at noon Central, Thursday at noon Pacific. And then if you miss any, just go here to catch up. You can watch it at 1.25 or 1.5. I won't get offended. Just kind of speed through them. And you can go right to the topic about what you'd like to learn. So that's kind of what we're doing today. Tonight at 7 p.m., I will be having a starter class on the AI in 1 hour. If you have not done anything with me before regarding training, that's a good place. I cover the basics of AI, how to speak to just about any AI tool that's out there. So it's a great class to come to. That one's called AI in 1 hour. I'll put the link in the chat. Let me copy that right now. So just in case you haven't started, one key thing is the create method. It is the foundational tool, and we do have a video here in the AI lunch hour that kind of covers the create method if you can't make it tonight. So that's very important for you to learn. That's why I teach that first on every class that I do. And there's another video over here, AI Super Self Create Method, another video. So you can watch either one of those. We've got a new feature. By the way, we add new features almost weekly. So we have a new section called Ask the Experts. So if you want some business coaching, you can check out the Ask Ramona app, if digital marketing and sales, the Ask Danny app, business strategy and AI training, Ask Joel app. He's actually on the call. Hey, Joel. If you have some branding, Ask It Girl. And then you have the business formation tools. So one of the things I had to do today to get the Ask Ramona page set up is I had to go into my manage domains and add a domain. So you could either add an existing domain that you have, or you can buy a domain directly in this tool. Now, what's great is the buy a domain is you can describe your business, and just like GoDaddy does, it'll suggest names for your particular thing. So, for example, Joel's in AI for Humanity business. AI for humanity, right? That's the business model that I'm going after. You can tell it, do you want any specific extension? Excuse me, yeah, extensions. You can tell it, do you have any preferred style, classic, professional, fun and clerky, all that kind of stuff. Add up to 2 words, 1 word, 3 words, that kind of thing. And then you tell it to generate. So this is the buy a domain app. So we have a business formation apps where you can go through the big dream generator, which talks about, and there's a video on this, which speaks to 13 questions about taking the idea that's in your head, putting it on paper. And so that the concept behind that is every entrepreneur has a kind of a visionary type of thing. And so you want to get it in a practical term. So that big dream generator, this big dream generator will create for you what's called a business brief. Then you can take that business brief, take it over to any of the apps and have it do other things with that. So for example, you need a hero section. Feed that description of your business into the hero section generator and it'll create an image that kind of relays the feeling of your description that you gave it. So here's some AI for humanity. I know I didn't spell it wrong, so I don't know why it's coming up with that. So there we go, AI for humanity.com. I thought you already had that one, Joel. Let me take Joel off. I'm gonna allow you to talk, Joel. You can come off mute if you want to, if you're not in too noisy a
Oh,
place.
yeah, humanity is
HUM, what,
a
AN.
for humanity solutions.
Yeah, so you already have that one. I thought you remember you saying that you already had that one. Okay, so that's the idea is you can easily create that. And by the way, Joel, while you're here, do you want to tell people a little bit about your project and what you're trying to do with ethical AI?
Well, yeah, hello everyone. It's great to be here. Danny is awesome. He's a great trainer. I'm learning a lot from him. And so I'm actually going out to the AI Wealth Summit that's sponsored by Digital 1000X AI and Deal AI in Las Vegas this weekend. And at the same time, Ramona and Danny are going to the Black AI Expo in Atlanta this weekend. So we are spreading ourselves thin. But what we're trying to do is I focus on, I have a business and I deal primarily in the HR space in kimmittgroup.com. That's the top level business. But since I got into artificial intelligence, I realized I wrote a book called Being Berean in the Age of Artificial Intelligence. And what it does is try to bridge the gap to help navigate and demystify AI, but we want to use AI for good, for humanity's purpose, because we have a lot of terrific technology and we don't want to waste it making cat memes for social media or Facebook. We want to actually try to humanize it by bringing it to a level where we learn from each other, and is what we're doing now. We leverage off each other on the networks. That's why we have Ramona with the Royal Influence Incubator, and we launch our business. Whatever business or passion that you have, these are we have all the tools in this platform to help you. But for AI for Humanity Solutions, we focus on demystifying artificial intelligence by using the create method, as Danny talks about, learning how to talk to the large language models, but using it for the good of humanity and the ethical use of artificial intelligence. So I'm focused on the ethical use of AI, and that's what we teach, and that's why we're proud to be associated with 1000X AI. It's one of the only few AI training platforms out there that has learning aspects and it has the tools associated with it. And then we teach you how to use these tools, and that's why Danny spends so much energy in training 4 and 5 days a week to make sure that we just don't give you a toy and walk away with it. We show you how to use the toy, and then we want you to go out and develop and create content based on whatever your passion is. And so if you're a minister, if you're a content creator, I mean, it's all there for you. And they're saying that AI is going to replace, millions of jobs. And we think that, in our community, we are at risk and most vulnerable because we are overrepresented in those jobs that are going to be lost to artificial intelligence. So it's critical. We're on a mission to train as many people as possible so they can train others to create good content and create an income for themselves.
Absolutely. And thanks a lot. Let me drop into the chat a few links here. So everybody who's kind of paying attention, I put in the AI Wealth Summit, and that is the one in Vegas. And what's great about that is it is February 22nd, 23rd. If you're around the country, you can Zoom it, and it's a lot of fun. So the link is right below it in the chat. So feel free to go check it out. And Joel will be there. So go shake his hand and say hi. Everybody's like, well, how am I going to know who Joel is? Trust me, you will know when you get there. But just in case if you don't, he is one of our experts on the platform, as I showed you. Well, there we go. Sorry, it's bouncing around here. So this is Joel right here on the right, and you can find him in Vegas. And then Ramona, who's here in the middle, will be at the ABE with me, the Atlanta Black Expo. And so we'll be covering this as well. So for everybody who needs more AI training, please sign up to the platform, look at the free videos. There's no charge for signing up and registering to start your free trial. If you're already a member, great. I love it. Thank you very much. And please keep coming to all of the different trainings and then going into the AI Lunch and Learn so that you can catch up on all of the training. I'm on a mission, as Joel said, to get as much training in here as possible so that everybody can immediately start using all of these tools and start making some money. As Joel, we like to say, learn, leverage, launch, and earn.
Earn.
All right, so we want you to come in and start playing with all of these different things. I showed you today. Last week, 2 weeks ago, I showed the Big Dream Generator. I showed you today how to get your domain if you don't have it. You can also get a business email, get a business phone if you're starting a business. We have a multitude of AI image to text to image generators. So we have the hyperrealistic, which is my personal favorite, I think. Even over scroll stopping ads, you can create all kinds of different images. We have scroll stopping images, which is more emotional. It's not so much used for creating, specific hyper realistic. It's more about relaying an emotion. So I used a very simple prompt on this one, which is a black woman on her knees praying, use color screen scheme of green and blue. So we teach the create method, which this doesn't quite comply with, but it has some of the key elements, right? I told it what I wanted. I set the context. I did tell it specifically what the output I want. I gave it the tone and the image that I'm looking for. And I know for a fact the rest of it, even though the prompt was very simple, the rest of it you control with the switches on this because we have a no-code platform. So those of you who are used to using Midjourney and some of the other text to image creators or generators, all of the other types of things that you would have to put into a serious prompt to get exactly what you would look like, what you want it to look like, you can just do with turning these switches on and off. That's why the prompt is so simple, because the rest of it is built into the platform, no code style, and you can tell it who your target audience is. You can tell it the type of image that you're looking for. So that's why that prompt, the simpler the prompt in some cases, the better you get the best results. So you can put in colors. I put the colors right up at the top because I get the best results when I do that. And then I click create. That's it. It is super, super simple. So I could put in business coach for entrepreneurs. Actually, we already have entrepreneurs down below. And I can tell it use color scheme black, gold, and white. All right, I could tell it something like that and tell it to go, and it would basically try to create an image for me. The only thing that's missing here is we want to be specific, right? And let's do this to get even more specific. The more granular you are in your description, the better chances you'll get what you're looking for. So I'll do that for now. And this is scroll stopping. So it's not going to try to put text in it. It's not going to try to do anything like create a logo or anything. And by the way, there's a logo maker right here. So if you want to create logos, there's one right there. If you want to create a hero image, meaning that's the main section of the website, that's right there. If you want to edit the images after you create them, that's there. Creating blogs, e-commerce pages, those moving GIFs that kind of have like the video with the text on top of it. That's the motion ad maker. If you have a video, you want to add voiceover, file storage, and it's using the color scheme that we liked of the black, gold, and white. So they kind of made it a cream to blend it together. Well, no, that's not bad at all, right? So this is what I mean by you can get really kind of good emotional images out of it. So I'll download that one. And there's three formats on the download, just an FYI, PNG, JPEG, and WebP. WebP is usually the lightest. So if you're putting it on a website, I always recommend using the WebP format. So if I went back now to my web page and I wanted to add that image for example, right below it here, let's go one down here and we'll put in a single column. Oops, there we go. Let's try that again. I was going to grab an image and there we go. Let's grab this image here. So again, this one is where you get the library access so we can grab it. So let me go find it in my download folder, which is where it goes automatically if you don't tell it any otherwise. And there we go. So now we have that image in there. That's it. One of the other nice things about this editor is that it will resize based on your screen size. So for example, for mobile, which is, of course, your phone, it resizes everything to fit. If you want to clean things up, like for instance, this image is going from edge to edge. If you're a web developer, you're like, no, 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 it's got to be a little more concise. So you can actually create different sizes of the image for web, mobile versus web. And you do that the same way that we were playing around with other things. So you can put the image here, right? And then here you can go in and change the image width, kind of do the same thing that I did on the video. You can center it. You can, like, for instance, the image right now is squared, so I can go here and say rounded corners. I could go in and say it's rounding the corners. So you can't really tell on because it's so small here, but it is rounding the corners, or I could put it so a little bit more obvious, right? Make a circle. Oh, no, no. Is that quite a circle? It's working with the image, so that's why it's not quite a circle, but it's close enough. You get the idea. So you could do something like that. You can play around with it and kind of decide how you want it. You can play with the fade in and fade out, how strong it is, things like that. So you can add animation, by the way. You can fade in, fade out, that kind of thing. We're right at the top of the hour. Today I'm being disciplined, getting done in an hour. Last Thursday, I think we did 90 minutes. So I'm going to keep working on websites and we're going to do other apps as well. Everybody, have a fantastic evening. Bye bye.